Well, all right, all right, all right, all fucking right. We got, I mean, it looks like an hour and 52 minutes, but it's maybe an hour and a half, maybe, of Campfire Chat. Season 3, mid-season Campfire Chat. Let's see what's new. Who's ready? We should turn off the music, right? Yeah, we should turn off the music. And do we have any sound? We have no sound. Why do we not have any sound? Can somebody tell me, please, why we don't have any sound? Safari's on. We do have sound.
Season of the Construct has so much going on.
New quest lines, new legendary items, unique items, new mechanics, challenges, and more. In the Season of the Construct, you learn of a wondrous place beneath the sands of Ketchestan, filled with untold treasure. Nearly all who seek this treasure never return. Those that do return are haunted, or worse yet, possessed. You seek out this place to put an end to whatever is lurking there.
Following a lead, you discover a sprawling network of underground vaults. It houses the Loom, a priceless apparatus built long ago by the brilliant mages.
I feel like this was already done, right?
Ayujan of Chaldeum to shape the elements and build
I do
tools
feel like
to
it.
serve humanity.
While exploring the network, you rescue Ayujan, only to discover that the demon Malphus has taken over the Loom to create its own private hell.
Malphus
Malphus is
is
a
a dick.
servant of Diablo.
He's a
unlike
dick.
other demons we've encountered Diablo 4. He's shapeless,
A
manipulates others, takes on
scrawny little
forms other than his
turd
own.
bag.
He has possessed one of Zoltankul's prized constructs.
And you must work with Ayujan to explore the vaults, gain access to the Loom, and defeat Malphus.
This season introduces constructs. These elementally powered monsters were originally created by Ayujan and Zoltan to protect and maintain the Loom. Unfortunately, Malphus has taken control of them and twisted them to his liking.
Yeah, the
They're
protect
powered by various different elements.
is
giving
just
them
really
different
fucking good.
abilities and strengths
I
and
have to write
weaknesses.
down two.
You'll also find them, of course, in the vaults themselves,
Where I'm
protecting
at.
the many treasures within. As players engage with the storyline of the Season of the Construct, they're going to come across a broken version of the Seneschal during the quest line. The Seneschal is a special construct that was
This
built
is,
to command the other
what?
constructs based on Ayujan's and Zoltan's direction. Ayujan of Chaldeum repairs the Seneschal to follow your orders.
The Seneschal construct is your companion. It's a rebuilt construct that will accompany you throughout the season. Your construct's power will grow along with you. The Seneschal construct has many different abilities that can complement the player's build. It can deal damage, crowd control monsters, or even support you directly by healing you or providing you a damage bonus. Magical stones are the key to customizing and empowering your construct. They are primarily found in vaults. You get governing stones from the season's quest line, and you get tuning stones from playing through the seasonal content.
Yeah, they're all
Governing
10.
stone
It's
is a
impossible to
core
get those
construct
tuning
ability,
stones at
while a
10, man.
tuning stone is
Fucking
a
takes
singular
forever.
modification for any number
Forever.
of governing stones.
As players are progressing through the season
I
of the
bought so many of those
construct, they're leveling up
caches.
their Seneschal,
It's
adding new
like fucking
abilities and
crazy.
improving them.
I did
You're
get a
gonna
few
find
levels
abilities
on the
that deal
things I'm
damage to
using,
packs
but
of monsters, to single
not as much
monsters,
as you would
and also
expect.
abilities that are just
with
focused
39
on buffing
caches.
the power of the player themselves, so that players have different options as they're progressing through the season.
I need to go
One
just
cool
kill
ability
those
is
Herald
Auto
of
Defense.
Malphus
Auto
for like,
Defense summons
I don't know, a
magical
couple
barrier
hours. Maybe we
around
do
your
that today.
construct
See what
that
uniques we
shoots
get,
down
what
enemy projectiles. Another cool
uh,
ability that your construct has is Focus Fire. It
glyphs
is a
we get,
channeled ray of fire that
or
can
stones, I
chain
mean.
multiple enemies. Use combinations of tuning stones to transform a seemingly simple skill into something
I still have to do
truly
Malphus
crazy.
himself too.
Vaults are seasonal dungeons that are filled with a high concentration of deadly
Seasonal
traps,
dungeons.
where you can farm for the magic
Yes.
stones for your seneschal
Yes.
constructs. You can find the entrances in different zones of Sanctuary. When the player enters a vault, they are met in a familiar area of Sanctuary. Then, the player teleports to the vault proper, encountering great challenges. Vaults not only have our new construct family in them, but also new traps built for this season.
Players are going to discover many new hazards inside
I don't know.
these
That's
vault
like a
spaces.
question.
You know,
I
whether
enjoy
it is
doing the
spinning
vaults. I
pillars,
do.
shooting out flames,
But
flames,
sometimes
or other
just doing the
traps.
same 4
Players need to
bolts
stay
over
on
and
their
over, even though
toes
they're
while they're
slightly
progressing through these vaults to stay alive.
variable or
Each vault
like the map
culminates in
layout
a
is a little
gauntlet
bit
of
different.
true skill. Players must avoid traps while fighting waves of enemies and
I kind of like
powerful
breaking it up and
If you
doing
survive
just
that,
regular nightmare
the
dungeons
traps
every
will
once in a
turn
while
off
too.
and the treasure room is revealed. If you get hit by
But,
a trap,
like,
you lose 1 stack
Having
of Zoltan's
additional power
warding.
to kill elites
Zoltan's warding
is
a
great
special
for
buff
vaults because
players
you
can
don't have to
get
worry
by
about a
interacting
boss.
with the statue of Zoltan Cool when they enter a vault.
And the bosses
If
take
they
forever to
have a
kill
pearl
right
of
now.
warding. Ward-woven
Like, this
chests
build
are
is
special
is
chests
fun,
players can
fun as
interact
fuck.
with at the end of a vault.
But
if
it
they have
doesn't
enough
have that
stacks
like
of
one
Zoltan's
shot
warding
potential
left over.
for sure.
If a player has more than 1 stack, they can open a rare
It does melt shit though.
ward-woven chest. Those
But
have
like
even better rewards. This season
the
introduces
meteors
our
just
first
don't do
stationary
enough
boss in
against the
Diablo 4.
boss.
This is going to be a fight against this
And neither
massive
does the
protective
fire
dome
damage over
meant to
time.
watch over the vaults. The Malthus, once again, has managed to corrupt
You know you're not
control.
like at least not
Because
yet.
it's stationary,
I'm
it
not
gives us the
taking
opportunity to include
huge
some
chunks of
this
their health
season's new
bar with
traps
one
into the
meteor.
arena. This presents a lot of unique and new
Which
mechanics
is
for the
unfortunate.
players to navigate
At
a
least
fight.
at
Players are going
76.
to need to bring all of their skills and abilities to bear as they try to destroy and
And
fight
Son
off
of
these
Malthus takes a half
Malthus-controlled
hour.
constructs. They're also
Like,
going
I
to
can
make good
survive
use
him,
of their own seneschal.
but
Make sure they remain
for a half
upgraded
hour,
in
like
the
what
fights
the
to
fuck?
come. The Gauntlet is a new, fixed seed, non-linear dungeon where players have a fixed amount of time to achieve high scores by proving their might. Any player who unlocks World Tier 4, Torment Mode,
So they
can compete in the
announced
Gauntlet.
something about
The Gauntlet
trials
starts
too,
several weeks into the season of
which
the
I don't
construct.
think they
At the beginning
several
of
weeks.
each week, a new Gauntlet replaces the current one.
It was more than several
Unlike
weeks.
other dungeons, every time you and other players enter the Gauntlet that week, it will be
Yeah, I don't
exactly
think they
the same.
mentioned trial
Same
at
monster
all.
positions, same
in this.
affixes, everything. This makes it a fair competition. Additionally, monsters within the Gauntlet start at level 100. This is meant to test your fully leveled up and geared out build. It's
Monsters
highly
within the
replayable,
Gauntlet
enabling
start
a
at level
broad set of
100.
player choices. Players can try different classes and strategies for achieving high scores. Leaderboards are a place for top players to compete with one another in the Gauntlet.
They start at level
These
100.
were set
They
each
already
week
announced
when a
that.
new Gauntlet
How,
appears. There are
how come
solo
people are
leaderboards for
asking
each
what
class,
level?
as well as party leaderboards that vary with party size. And of course, there are a set of leaderboards
So
just for
you
hardcore
do need
players
to make sure your
Some
build
players may
is
not be
like
ready
fully
for that type
fleshed
of
out.
play, so we've created goals for them as well. Each
Neither of my
leaderboard has a
characters are
ladder.
fully
You
fleshed out.
climb to reach it. Each
I think
rung of the ladder
I don't
awards
know.
a
I
seal
think
that you can show off. When you earn the seal
I
of
don't
the
know.
worthy,
I think
you'll
maybe
be
I
ready
get
for
farther with the
leaderboard competition.
barbarian because she
Can't
just
wait to see
fucking
you in
shreds shit.
Sanctuary.
But I kind of want to flesh out the sorceress more because she's more fun. Hey
Hello,
now.
Diablo community. Welcome to another Diablo 4 Campfire chat. My name is Adam Fletcher. I'm the community director
Feels like this
here
quality is
for
dog
Diablo,
shit.
and I'm joined by two very, very familiar faces. Regular appearing people on Campfire chats. I have Mr. Adam Jackson here, who's our lead class designer, and Mr. Joey P, Joe Pipora, our associate
Joey
game director. He doesn't
P.
like it when I say Joey P.
I don't hate it. It's just it feels like a
I
running
love it.
gag that like very few people have.
There's,
It's-
yeah.
it's-
Me
it's-
and
now a
Tiffany
lot more
Watt,
now.
our production director,
Yeah,
are
it's
very big fans of Joey P.
Joey P on deck. Yeah,
But
what's up?
we have a big Campfire chat to talk about today. We have a lot of updates to talk about for Diablo 4.
A lot of
course, we have our
updates.
mid-season update, which is coming up really soon. In fact,
Next
coming
week.
Next week.
Yeah,
so,
baby.
Players
Let's
will
go.
be able to experience the mid-season update. And along with that, a very big feature that everyone's been talking about and anticipating. I know it's been a long anticipated feature within Diablo 4, and that is the Gauntlet. So we'll be talking about the Gauntlet as well and actually showcasing it here because that does come with the mid-season update next week as well.
Let's go.
So, players will be able to jump into the Gauntlet and try it out themselves starting next Tuesday.
Tuesday.
But I know a lot of stuff has happened over Diablo 4 since the start of Season 3. Just recently we released the 132 patch, which was the one that included a way for players who actually have a bunch of Uber Uniques and want to craft
Yeah,
Uber
have
Uniques.
who has a
by
bunch of
creating
Uber
the
Uniques?
Splendid Sparks
The
and then being able
fucking
to
what?
craft
I wish I had that
Uber
much
Uniques that
time
they specifically
to
want.
have
They
a bunch of
the
like
popular ones
to
and stuff.
spend
And so-
hours
But we do have a lot
grinding
of new features coming into the
Uber
actual
bosses
mid-season update with
for
133.
Uber Uniques.
One really
Like, I
popular
wish I
one
had that
coming
time.
back from season 2. I know you guys want to talk about
I'm
that a
interested to
little
see
bit more.
like how long it's gonna take me to kill.
Yes, we have
Dariel.
Vampire Powers returning
There we go.
from season 2.
Yep.
Yeah. So we obviously we really like being able to bring back some of the Malignant powers from season 1 in the form of the unique rings we have dropping from Barshan in season 2. Now, as we're looking towards season 3, that in the mid-season patch, we're able to bring back some of the vampiric powers that players really seem to like. We thought were pretty
Metamorphosis.
cool. Bring them back in a slightly different
Hemomancy.
form, I think Adam's going to talk about in a minute.
Yeah, we'll be going over all of them and what they.
I
which
think I
ones we
will
brought
use
back
that
and what
one
they
that
do. You'll be
has
able to see
damage
all
over
of it a
time
little
this
bit here.
time.
Yeah, so I think we have a kind of a slide to start talking about our vampiric powers.
6
Yeah, so really we've got 6 vampiric powers that are really returning from the
as
season
legendary
of Blood.
powers. not
They're coming
uniques.
back this time as legendary powers instead of uniques. So unlike the unique greens, these are going to be legendary powers, just like any other legendary power that comes in the game. And they're not all exact one-to-one copies. They're really close to matching their previous functionality and kind of what you would expect them to do. But you know, we brought them back in a way that's kind of evergreen, that they can be sustainable.
Yeah, they can fit
for a
in that
healthy
mix and
version of
match
the game.
format of the aspect system, right? So,
Yeah, so the ones we got here that are returning, you've got Accursed Touch, Blood Boil, Hectic, Metamorphosis, a fan favorite, Moonrise, and the Undying. You can see a few of them here being played out.
Which of those can I use?
Just in case if you forgot from season 2.
And do we
Yeah,
get rid of
Some the
Isu
fan
to
favorite ones. Of
use
course,
on
everyone
those?
loves Metamorphosis, a huge big one.
Yep.
Or what?
Being able to turn
Like
into
Metamorphosis
bats,
is only going to be able to go on
definitely a
boots,
phase.
guaranteed.
But as you mentioned, they're coming back as these legendary aspects, legendary powers.
Yeah, so
Offensive aspect, Accursed Touch. Lucky hit up to 75% chance for your skills to inflict vampire curse on enemies. Enemies afflicted by vampiric curse are also vulnerable. Vampiric curses stored souls deal 35% up to 50% increased damage. So, I mean, that is pretty powerful because I have a shit ton of lucky hit chance right now. Blood boiling. Oh, you can get an overpower. Oh, man. I can get an overpower. And an explosion. Dealing physical damage, though, that kind of sucks. Every 20 seconds, your next skill is guaranteed to overpower. Fuck. Meteors. Overpowering meteors. Undying was great, too. I don't know that I need it, though. When you cast a skill, you heal for 1.9% life. Double this bonus while 50% life. So, like, realistically, I could get rid of 3 skill points and trade it for 1 legendary. I don't know if that is a beneficial trade. Because where am I going to put those skill points? What am I going to get that's going to benefit that? And then I have to lose 1 legendary. That's a defensive. I don't know. We'll see.
here we're going to show you the exact text so you can, screen cap that, figure out all the exact differences between these and what's in Season 2. Largely the same, a few differences. The biggest one I think you'll see in the next screen is Metamorphosis. Obviously it's really, really strong.
Yeah, it only can go on boots. When you evade, you turn into a cloud of bats, becoming unstoppable for 2.5 seconds. Enemies along your path take 1379 physical damage and are inflicted with vampiric curse. Evade's cooldown is increased by 5 seconds. Really? I wonder how that interacts with this fucking unique that I have on Oculus. Because, like, I don't know. Damaging an enemy with a basic skill grants you 4% attack speed for 10 seconds, stacking up to 5 times. Like, that's fucking great. Upon reaching maximum stacks, you enter a vampiric blood rage, gaining... Yeah, that's fucking great, too. And 15% movement speed. Like, that's fucking great, too. After casting 5 skills, one of your active cooldowns is reduced by 3.8 seconds. Like, both of those power up my basic. But, do I want to do that? My build right now is not really a basic build. don't think either of them are. Well, we'll see. I feel like maybe we use this and see how it interacts with.
So now it's coming
With
back, but it's
Oculus.
going to increase the cooldown of your evade.
Yes, it's kind of like that legendary aspect we put in season 3 that increases your armor, but also increases the duration of your evade timer.
Yes, very similar. So
like
you know you
these-
got a little bit of a kiss curse
Yeah,
there.
that light effect, that choice for players to choose. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah. So yeah, next going into what our updates are, we've got kind of our generic updates here. So the first one a lot of people have been talking about is snapshotting. We've heard a lot of cases from people they brought up where snapshotting is a thing that's been reported to us. And to give a little bit of a kind of a high level view of what snapshotting is, because I know not everybody is very familiar. Snapshotting is this idea that when you get a buff, let's say a damage buff, you're able to hold on to that buff for a longer duration than it would normally last if you use it on a skill that is like channeled or lasts a really, really long time. So a simple example, this would be like the Barbarian's Whirlwind. If let's say I got a 50% damage buff and it lasts for 4 seconds, if I have that buff on me the moment I channel Whirlwind, it'll keep that buff going until I cancel Whirlwind because I had it when it started. And so if I keep my Whirlwind going forever, I'll keep that 50% damage buff way beyond the normal 4-second time. If the game didn't have snapshotting, then it would just last for 4 seconds, whether or not I started Whirlwind when I had it, and that would be how long I would be doing the bonus damage. So in general, when it comes to snapshotting, we want to really remove it from the game as much as we can. It does allow for some kind of cool things, but generally snapshotting is used to do really kind of undesirable behavior, whether it's unequipping and re-equipping gear at certain times or using certain effects at certain times to get way more power than a player should normally be able to be. And it results in the things like people gathering up a ton of buffs and then like one-shotting a boss or things like that in unintuitive ways. So we fixed every case that's been reported to us so far and will continue to, and we're going to move toward more of a systemic approach to taking it out. Also for the gauntlet, because we know that a few people were concerned about the gauntlet and how snapshotting would be able to work there.
Yeah.
In the gauntlet, your gear, the skill tree, and the Paragon board cannot be changed. So you can't do any weird things of unequipping, re-equipping
That's
legendaries
funny.
or things like that to try and gain an advantage. What you
Like,
bring into the
like what a
gauntlet is
stupid
basically what you
mechanic
want.
to
So it'll
utilize,
be
though.
a
You
fair
know,
place for
like you're in the middle of gameplay and you stop
And lastly,
to then go
more generic thing with
switch
the
your
rogue, we
gear
found
or
an
to
issue
go
where
and
the
switch your
weapon mastery passive
skills or
was double
something. It's
dipping on
fucking dumb.
critical strike damage bonuses, particularly when you mixed weapon mastery and the precision key passive. Players were able to do way more damage than was intended. So that is another bug fix that is coming in this patch. All right, so next let's get into our first round of the class updates. First, we're going to start with the Seneschal construct.
Yeah, the Seneschal class.
Yeah, the Seneschal class.
Yeah.
So really, we've resolved quite a few different bugs and also reduced the power of some things that were overperforming. The first one is that when you used basically AoE buffs like the Barbarian Warcry or the Druid's Bloodhowl, the Seneschal would be double dipping in the amount of bonus that it would get in its damage bonus, so we fixed the bug there. And next we did quite a bit of updates to some of the tuning stones. The poison support tuning stone isn't going to be reapplying the base damage when it spreads. It's going to match more the functionality of other kind of damage over time tuning stones. The bleeding and burning support tuning stones were a little bit overpowered, so we're reducing the power of those a little bit as well. And then lastly, the Tempest governing stone was basically resulting in a situation where you could get unlimited damage bonuses by it constantly bouncing and getting more and more and more. And so now it's no longer going to get bonus damage and duration when it spreads. It's just going to spread and do that base amount of damage.
Okay.
All right, so next, let's get into the class updates. So we're going to start with the Barbarian. And again, we've got stuff for every single class. Right now, I'm
First
sure...
bullet, very powerful.
Very powerful.
Yeah, Barbarian's pretty good right now.
As
That
many
is
of you,
something
I'm
that
sure
is
know,
very
Yeah.
obvious.
the Barbarian's pretty good right now.
It's insane.
A lot of people really like Charge, it turns out. It's a really strong skill.
You gonna nerf it, and that's my
Probably
build.
the biggest update you're going to see here, the next
Bastards.
bullet point, is that we're not really planning to nerf Charge in this patch.
Good.
Before we had talked about kind of our bar for what we would consider to be too strong in the game where we were nerfing a mid-season patch. Charge is like right up there.
Yeah, it
And
is.
we talked a lot as a design team and made a call that we were going to keep it for the rest
Good.
of the season.
Let it
So,
play
you
out.
know, we know it's really, really good. It's really, really strong. A lot of people are having a lot of fun with it. We could have gone either way on this, so we're open to feedback of what the community thinks. But now with the launch of the Gauntlet, we're going to keep it in and kind of see how it rides out. We've been seeing over time that other classes have found things that are also really, really powerful too. So we're gonna try that this season and see how it goes.
Good.
But in addition to that, we've got some changes coming for Barbarian. You know, we still get feedback that a lot of their early game is kind of tough. So
It's
we're
not.
going to be buffing up a lot of their basic skills to make
It's
the
not at
early
all.
game go a little bit smoother. And then we're also doing some buffs to some underused skills and upgrades. There's some examples here. We've got Strategic Ground Stomp. The ultimate cooldown reduction is being doubled from 1 to 2 seconds. One of the Iron Skin upgrades and the upgrade for Call of the Ancients is just getting a number increase. And Boris Devastating Grip. So this is kind of a
Familiar name.
storied history in our game. Yeah, it was really, really good when the game launched. And now we brought it down quite a bit, and now we're increasing its power a little bit again to bring back Whirlwind builds. So the ranks of Whirlwind are going up from 1 to 2 to 2 to 3, and we're increasing the amount of the explosion damage a little bit there as well.
Okay.
So really, when it comes to what you look forward to the Barbarian, it's really everything because we're not nerfing Charge, but also their early game and Whirlwind builds will be a little bit better as well. And again, when we're going through all these updates for the classes, this isn't everything that is going in that we're showing you. You'll be able to see the patch notes very soon, but this is just a sneak peek of some of the things that are happening. So there is a little bit more for
Sweet.
everything, I think, than what we're showing today. So next we got the
I'm not
Sorceress.
Sad
So
or
Incinerate is a skill that we
super
know
happy about those
people had kind of a
Barbarian
hard time really
changes.
getting a lot of effectiveness out of. So we're increasing basically everything across the board.
Incinerate
The damage
sucks.
is going up. All of its upgrades are going up.
who wants to stand
So,
there and just
Incinerate
fire a
players should be
flamethrower? I know.
rejoicing. We've also got quite a few buffs to Conjuration skills coming in. So for people that like using Conjurations. And then also some buffs to really generically used, underused passives and Paragon Glyphs. So really across the board, you're just going to see some buffs to various things. So here again, for Sword players, Incinerate and really Conjurations are the things that you have to look forward to.
Okay. Maybe Hydra's a little bit
And
better.
next we've got the Druid.
we keep
He's
it?
got quite a few powerful things coming. So similar to the Barbarian, you know, the Druids, we've gotten feedback that they kind of, you know, they have a really, really strong late game, but their early game getting there can be a little bit tedious to go. So we're buffing a lot of their basic
It's
skills.
fine.
We gave an example here for the Druid with Wind Shear. So you can see here the Spirit generation is going up, the damage is being increased, and the Wild Wind Shear upgrade, which gives you more spirit when you hit enemies, is also going up. So really just better
Just a
resource
slow
management in the
skill
early
though.
game.
It's kind of boring.
And then Companion Druid.
It's
So
not as
we
good
can
as
pretty
Claw.
consistently hear for players that they really want to make a companion build really work and feel good. So we've got some damage
You
buffs
should
across
be
the
able
board for
to.
all the companions, particularly Wolves is getting quite a bit stronger.
Yeah,
But we've got
super
things for
weak, but
Wolves,
super
Poison
fun to
Creeper,
play
and
with.
Ravens.
I like playing with companions.
And then we've got some
everything.
additional buffs to some underused passives. And then last but not least, the Storm's Companion unique. So this is the one that makes your wolves howl when they do some lightning damage in an AoE. The ranks of wolves that you're getting is going to be increased from 2 to 3 to 4 to 5. And then
Increased by
also the
180%
Storm
because it
Howl
didn't
damage,
do
that damage
anything.
that happens when the lightning bolts
Like, that
come
was the-
down is being increased by
The
a lot.
fucking
And
shittiest.
so you could see here,
Enhance. Yeah.
yeah. So you know, before
Yeah,
I was
look at
doing,
this
like, you know,
fucking-
in
that
this
was the
example at
shittiest,
this
like,
level,
most
100
worthless
to maybe
fucking
400
skill
damage,
ever.
150 to 400, and now it's gonna be doing closer to 8 to 1300 damage per strike. And these things strike multiple times too, and in an AOE, so it's actually quite a bit of an increase.
That's a nice buff.
So really, as far as Druids, your early game will feel better for pretty much every build, and then Companions
Those
and
skill bulls
especially
are fun to
Wolves
play with,
are gonna be quite a
especially
bit
the,
more
when you
powerful.
turn them into werewolves. That's fucking fun as shit.
Next, we've got the Rogue. So we've got Heartseeker and Force Foyer. Their attack speeds are being increased. So, you know, when it comes to basic skills, a lot of people gravitate to Puncture. It's really, really strong. It applies vulnerable, but also you're able to stutter step, and it feels really good when you cast it.
And you're just throwing knives.
Yes, and
Throwing
knife throwing
knives
is
is
cool.
rad.
I can't give everyone knives on every skill, but I also think arrows are kind of cool.
I think there's areas for improvement. with
So,
knives and everything.
maybe knives on the arrows? Like, I don't know. But anyways, as far as how it
Arrows
feels
are not
to
as
use,
cool as
the
knives.
two arrow skills should
It's
feel
just-
exactly
it's
the same
just
as
a fact.
Puncture. As
Fact
far
of
as how
life,
you're able
man.
to stutter step, how
Knives
quickly
are
you're able
much
to cast
cooler
them,
than arrows.
they've been made to match. And then we also heard some feedback that Flurry isn't really feeling as good compared to the other core skills, so we're increasing its damage.
Okay.
And then we're
That
also
was fun to
improving the
play in beta,
functionality of both of its
but I didn't
upgrades.
play
They're
it
just
at
going to be a
all when
little
I
bit more
played the-
usable.
My
And
rogue
then
playthrough.
Precision, everybody's favorite new change in Season 3. We're actually going to be reducing the stacks required for bonuses from 6 to 4. So this is a buff to Precision. It's really meant to help with actually the rhythm and the way that you feel when you cast it. That how often you get the proc should just feel a little bit better to use when you're using it in combination with other skills. And then last but not least, we got the aspect of branching volleys. We're kind of redesigning or upgrading this legendary quite a bit. This is with barrage. When your barrage arrows bounce, they do more damage, but now we're actually adding a little bit more to it. So you can see here on the left is kind of the old version, which basically said that your arrows had a chance to split into 2 arrows whenever they ricochet. And I love that zoom in.
Oh yeah.
So now on the right, firstly, it's going to increase just the base damage of ricocheting arrows from barrage. And then also they still keep that chance to split into 2, but that chance has also been increased by quite a bit.
Yeah.
So really this legendary just wasn't very powerful or being used very much. And now it
I
should be
did
quite
use
a bit
that. It
better.
was great, actually.
So yeah, as far as things to look forward to, really range builds I think are going to feel pretty good, and then flurry as well is getting quite a big increase. And last but not least, we have the Necromancer, and we have a lot to cover here with Necromancer, so hold on to your butts here. So first we got minion
Hold on to
buffs.
your butts, he said.
Minion buffs.
Giant block of text here. So really their damage is being increased by about 20% just across all minions. Their health is going up by about 10%. A lot of their passives here you can see are being increased. We've got Hellbent Commander, Cult Leader. Corporeal is a pretty big one, I think, that you'll be able to look forward to. So before it was that you and your minions just deal increased physical damage. Now it's also going to be giving you increased move speed for every active minion.
Yes.
So-
Necromancers rejoice.
Yeah,
they
minion
can move
builds will be catching up with their army and vice versa as they go through the game. We also fixed an issue with Skeletal Reapers where they were spawning too few corpses, so now they're going to be giving a lot more corpses when you take that upgrade. And also just talking about minions a little bit. Minions is one of our big priorities to kind of feel really good. We think that the issue with minions is not just that they're not dealing enough damage, but also we want to increase kind of the cool factor in the way that you engage with them, particularly the golem. So we do have quite a bit more coming in Season 4 that I wanted to let everybody know about. But this is kind of a little bit of a taste of what we plan to do.
Okay,
Initial volley
nice.
of
It'll be
The
ready
initial
for when I
volley
actually
of
play
changes, yes, we have a lot
Necromancer. That's
coming in
perfect.
Season 4 in
That
addition
is
to
actually
this.
perfect. The first time that I play
And then next, we've
Necromancer
got
playthrough,
also
they will
buffs and
have
functionality adjustments
fixed
to a
them.
bunch of other things. One example here with a passive is spiked armor. And it kind of makes sense that
Question
you know,
is,
it
am I
would give
going to
you
play
armor.
a
So now it's also
minion
going to give you armor in addition
Necromancer?
to
I don't know.
thorns. Death's Reach
I
is
think
a
I'll have at
passive
least
that we're
one.
redesigning completely.
I'll have a golem
it
for
used to be
sure.
that you dealt more
We'll
damage
see.
to enemies that are far away.
Because the other things look
Now
great
we're
too.
changing it to be Death's Advance, which really just gives you move speed. So now, generically, Necromancer players will have a way to just put 3 points in a passive and gain additional move speed more than other classes.
Great, yeah.
And then we've also got some core
Nice.
skill buffs, particularly to Blight, Blood Surge, and Sever. There's some number buffs, and I think even some like functionality and other tweaks to make the bulk of them feel a lot better. So really, when it comes to Necromancer players, movement
Maybe you
speed
play
is the name of the game
Thorns and-
here, and also minion builds should feel quite a bit
Thorns
better than
and
before.
what? Any minions?
And lastly, we wanted to talk with you all a little bit about how we do our updates and the timing of them. We've run into a issue, not really an issue, but a situation that happens pretty commonly. So normally when we think about updates, you know, in our last live stream, we talked about how, you know, we kind of made a promise with you that at the start of every season, every class was going to get at least one new legendary and one new unique. And what happens sometimes is we'll have a new legendary or a new unique in the pipe, and you know we have a cool idea, we've made a new design for something. Like I'll give an example.
They're
let's
not going to
say,
fulfill that promise.
Fireball Sorcerer, right? We have a really cool new legendary for Fireball Sorcerer that we've put in, we've play tested it, it's ready to go. But we don't have a new legendary for every other class to go with it, right? And we kind of run into the situation where we have to decide, like, is it okay to put something into the game when one class will get more than other classes, right? We tend to try and keep things mostly equal when it comes to these updates. And so we kind of wanted to hear your feedback a little bit of would you be okay
I would say
and would it be
keep it
cool with the
equal.
community
Otherwise,
if
you're going to have
when
a
we
bunch of people complaining.
more than, you know, the equal amount of other classes of updates to do, that we just put them in when they're ready, or should we wait until, you know,
You should
everybody kind
wait.
of has parity on things?
Parity is
situation
good
where this
for
comes
the
up quite
health
a
of
bit
the
is where,
community.
Like we
Like if
we know that
everything was
build really
a
needs some help.
sorceress
Like I'll use
buff or
Frozen Orb as an example, right?
new
Where Frozen Orb, you know,
game
we want to make a new
style
play
of
style
play
for
or
Frozen
whatever,
Orb,
then yeah, I'd be
and
happy.
we
But
want to add like 2 legendaries and a
then everybody
unique
else
to
is
really
sad.
make this thing sing, right? Like just adding one power isn't enough to make this whole play style work. And so would it be okay if, you know, you see in the patch notes in the season that Sorcerer gets, you know, 2 uniques and 4 legendaries and everybody else just gets 1, but we've
Yeah, it'd
enabled
be
this really cool thing? Or
a bunch of
do
sad
you think
people.
it's smarter for us to just kind of wait until every class can get a cool new thing of that equivalent?
Just wait.
amount of stuff coming into the game.
Just wait, boys.
So, you know, we're open to feedback here. We're going to be looking at, you know, Reddit and forums and other places, kind of what you think, but we're kind of leaning towards just putting things in when they're ready. But we want to turn this into a
You're gonna have
conversation.
a lot
that
of
you
fucking anger.
kind of have your voice as well.
It's not
Yeah,
worth it.
How you want us to put these things.
Yeah,
in.
get some feedback. We're interested in this.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
post live stream, or I know we know that the conversations will come up regarding this specific topic, and so
Yeah.
we'll be looking around and kind of gathering community feedback on like what you guys prefer, and kind of going with that, you know, and listening in on what you guys actually want us to do. So please chime into different conversations that you guys see related to that topic, because we'll most definitely be checking it out and paying attention. So, and this is just a small, as Adam mentioned, this is just a small piece of what we're actually including in the mid-season update. The full patch notes are actually going to be out tomorrow. So we'll end up posting all those before the weekend, and players can check out the full entire patch notes. And of course, this mid-season update includes all the vampiric powers. It also includes Gauntlet, which we're about to showcase here. So it's a pretty beefy mid-season update. And just to remind people as well, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, there's a lot of changes in this mid-season update. What we talked about at the beginning of Season 3 is like the cadence of how we plan on doing these updates.
Yeah.
You know, we plan on doing pretty significant changes, of course, at the start of the season, because it's a brand new season, so it makes sense there. And then, you know, we take the time to evaluate, and then we make pretty significant changes in mid-season updates as well, based off of feedback that we saw since the start of the season. And of course, you know, once we get into a new season, things change again, and you know, meta changes and class balance changes occur then. So players can expect to see that there. There is the rare occurrence, as like for instance, that you know we'll be monitoring feedback if something does come up that is like absolutely like breaking or whatever, that we may end up making a tweak on based off of community feedback. But that is typically the cadence that we had talked about at the beginning of the season, and we just want to remind players like you can always expect these big moments during the beginning and the middle part of the season for itself.
Correct. Yeah.
Awesome. So the next thing we did want to talk about is the Gauntlet. You know, this is
Gauntlet
a long
time.
anticipated feature. It is the leaderboard feature essentially within Diablo 4, and we actually have a cool like showcase that we want to show you guys here. We have 3 different devs that are.
We're going to show you a showcase.
We're going to show you a showcase.
Just this once.
Show
Yeah.
Show it.
But we have
Show
3 different
that
devs
showcase
that are going to be
in the
joining
Gauntlet
us, and they're going to be
showdown.
running through their build specifically through the Gauntlet itself. And we are joined by 2 Diablo partners, 2 Diablo content creators who are going to be commentating through this. This is Anna Cake Live and Macro Bioboy. Thank you guys very much for helping us out here. And our 3 devs are going to be, of course, from like here within Irvine. So they'll be playing live here within the studio.
Irvine, California.
Irvine, California.
Yeah.
And so we actually have John Constable, who is on the engineering team here for Diablo 4. We have Liam Kerr, who's a associate class designer on the design team here for Diablo 4. And we have Steven Stewart, who some people may recognize as Leviathan, a former Diablo content creator, or maybe still a Diablo content creator. He's like behind the camera, I don't know, who will also be running through his build through the Gauntlet, so you guys can actually check it out. But what we do want to do is we do want to hand it off to Anna Cake Live and Macro Bioboy, who will be running us through some of this Gauntlet stuff, and then we'll come back and we'll give you guys a few little updates about Season 4 and do some Q&A. So, Macro,
Deal.
Anna,
Let's
take
do
away.
it.
Thank you so much, Adam. Hi everyone. I am Anna Cake Live, and I'm incredibly happy to be here today. And together with my friend Macro, I'm happy to first time see and comment on the showcase of the Gauntlet.
Hi everybody, I'm Macro Bioboy. I'm your friendly neighborhood necromancer. Yeah, Anna, this is wildly exciting. It's so great that the players finally get to
Wildly.
get
It's
their
beyond
eyes
amazing,
on what
man.
we're going to be expecting coming out next week. We have the Gauntlet Showcase, 3 amazing developers. These people, they're going to show you all the stops, and we're going to be able to help to kind of bridge the gap, bring you some of that information about the mechanics that are going on, what you're actually seeing, and what you can expect as well. So it looks like, first off, and I'm already incredibly excited for this because you know I'm a Necro boy here, we're going to be showcasing Liam Kerr on the Bone Spear Necromancer. This is like the build I'm the most excited for, and it looks like we're actually all set to hop right in. So let's go ahead and give
Hop
us
right
a
in.
hop into the gameplay here.
Here we go. And guys, just started the Gauntlet. The first thing that we see the boss, and we just skip the boss. The Necromancer is just running, skipping the boss, proceeding into the dungeon, and apparently trying to get. I already see here is the first shrine. Macro, tell me something about this shrine and about this necromancer. I know that you definitely want to share with us everything that we need to know about this necro.
Absolutely. So before I get like too deep into the necromancer, let's basically just talk about what you're looking at in the gauntlet. We have 8 minutes to get the highest score possible. Every monster that you kill, every boss that you kill, as well as some chests that we're going to see later on, are going to be dropping proofs of might. This is basically what you're getting, that teal score there on the right side. And it's speed, utility, and strategy is what we care about the most here. Monsters are going to be level 124, so this is similar to a Nightmare Dungeon 70 in difficulty. That means you don't have to worry as much about survivability or crazy damage numbers.
That's perfect.
You need to be doing just enough to be able to kill things as you run and gun. Specifically to your question about the pillars that we're seeing here, these unique shrines in the gauntlet itself, we have 2 new additions to the game. One is going to be a shrine that's going to respawn all of the monsters in the dungeon. That's right, it's not just about getting through the dungeon as fast as possible, it's about getting through it multiple times over. Secondly, we have another shrine which is actually going to increase how much score you get whenever you complete any of those objectives that I just saw. And then right there, we actually have the return of normal shrines as well. These are going to be dropping off the bosses. Anna, what can you tell us more about these shrines and what people need to worry about strategizing with them?
Oh yeah, that's the whole, this gauntlet, it's all about the strategy. The shrine's gonna be always
the mic
the same,
sucks.
Here in the same places, and the shrines that
Sorry,
will
Anna,
be,
it just
dropping
does.
from the bosses that also will be the same.
Kind of makes my ears hurt whenever it's clicking.
You need to plan your trip.
I hope
through the
mine
gauntlet.
doesn't do that.
Are you gonna kill the boss? Are you planning to use those shrines? When are you planning to use those shrines? Once again, the shrines, the special shrines from this gauntlet, they will be either resetting all the monsters in the dungeon, and here we see our necromancer just killed the boss first time, resetted this boss, and he's going back and killing him again and getting a lot of proofs of might, increasing his score. By the way, necromancer current score is already 58k. We are going not bad. We are progressing further in the dungeon. The map will always stay the same in this dungeon. It will stay the same for a week. So you can plan your path. You can always choose your way how you will be progressing in this dungeon. And here we see the second shrine, the second pylon our necromancer touched.
So to talk a little bit more about the Bone Spear Necromancer, because I could go on and on about this build. I think this is basically going to be everybody's first attempt at what the best meta approach to this content is. Bone Spear has a lot of great mobility as well as ability to spread damage across the battlefield. So whether you're running past monsters and gunning back behind you, kind of training monsters along, players of Diablo 3 would have seen similar strategies in Greater Rifts, kind of bringing all of your monsters together before you waste any time actually killing them. But whether or not you're just like front loading all of your damage and blasting through bosses so that you have that shrine moving forward, like here we have the Blast Wave Shrine, right? This basically means that the Necromancer will be able to kill as they run, not worrying about having to spend any animation time actually casting their spells themselves. And I think that this is something that people are going to want to really tune into. Not only is the gauntlet the same every single week, so literally every monster is going to be in the exact same place. Every time that you kill a monster that drops one of the keys, those are going to be in the exact same place too. So like I said before, it's not just about doing a lot of damage, being very fast. It's about picking every single time you spend any time at all, casting a skill, doing damage, or moving. And I definitely think that Bone Spear Necromancer is uniquely positioned in this way to be able to keep that constant momentum in damage output.
This is where Godslayer comes into like good use. Pulls everything in. You just fucking nuke them with meteors.
We are going absolutely not bad. Guys, you can see in the corner there are the keys. We don't have yet any keys, but hopefully we're gonna get them soon. You probably also saw that in this dungeon there are special chests. White chests, and a little bit later I think we're gonna see also yellow chests. The chests, obviously, they have a lot of proof of mights. They're helping you to increase your total score. To get the keys, you need to kill some special monsters. The monsters are staying the same, but when you're entering the dungeon, you don't know which monster it is. You will also have to first run a couple of times through the dungeons, kill all the monsters, find out who is actually dropping the key and probably focus on those monsters. Also, keep in mind that you need probably kill them, couple of them, to be able to open the chests. By the way, we went right back to the beginning of the dungeon, and probably our necromancer now decided to finish our first boss, our Tom Lord, that is waiting here.
Tom.
It's
We have
really
2
important
minutes,
to-
30 seconds left. 30 seconds left.
It's really important to recognize that too. So the Tomb Lord is a boss that is notorious for moving. And if you're a boss that moves, you're basically the antithesis of a Bone Spirit Necro. It wants to keep you in a very specific place. So maybe it's not kill every single pack of monsters. Maybe it's not whittle down every single boss as you go. Since you know where the ones that are going to be the easiest for you to take out, you can make that part of your overall strategy. And running through these sections again and again, getting as much score as possible. Probably the best part about all of this, and it's something that like you might not have picked up on immediately, you notice that every single time you kill a monster, like we just saw there, the score automatically flies into you. So this isn't like running a normal dungeon where you have to go back and pick up those 2 veiled crystals that you happen to notice drop. Your only concern is running through this at breakneck speed, killing demons as you go. And the automatic pickup of score, the ability to know exactly where everything is, having that map fully explored, and then eventually memorizing it as
That's
the
pretty
week goes
interesting.
on.
See if
Means
it's any
that
fun.
players are going to continue to get higher and higher scores as we
See what these
optimize our
scores end up
builds,
being.
and as we bring better strategies and better timing, better routes through this. It really calls back to my speedrunning history in Diablo 2 and a little bit in Diablo 4, where every one of these little decisions that you're making could be the difference between ranking top 1 on the leaderboards or just barely cracking through to that top 1,000. But we're honestly seeing a really great showing from the Necromancer here. We have 1 minute left. We've just about cracked 200,000 score. This is actually pretty impressive for this build. I think that Liam's doing a fantastic job showcasing what I think most Necro players' first experience is going to be walking into this content.
Oh, I can hear that you're proud for your necromancer. And guys, we just entered the room. Guys, you saw that there were a lot of chests, but still don't have the keys. The necromancer needs to go through the dungeon, search for the keys, probably search for the shrines, probably reset. The winning strategy here would be resetting the monsters once again, and probably you cannot open the chest, but you will be able to kill a lot of monsters and also increase the total amount, your current score. We are almost reaching 200k, really close, and we have 10 seconds left. Looks good. Looks really, really good for Necromancer.
Come on,
See you
Necro, get
guys,
over
bye.
200k. Oh, and this is one of the issues that you run into. You know, if you've already cleared out that part of the dungeon, going back through it and kill, you know, there's no more monsters.
You've
for you,
ranked
but a
up.
great showing for the Necromancer. And if you tell me a
Seal
little
of
bit
the
more about the
Worthy.
screen that we're looking at right here.
We are looking on our total results screen. You can
get
see
rewards
here
too,
your total
huh?
score.
Like
You
what
can
kind of
see here the
rewards
amount
you
of
get?
monsters that you killed, all the elite monsters that you killed, and all the bosses that you defeated. All the information, and you also can see the information about what you reached, which seal you reached. And our necromancer, yep, Macro was absolutely right here. Our necromancer was showing insanely good gameplay. Seal of the Worthy. This is the highest seal that
Insanely
you
good.
can reach as a player. Tell us more about the seals. What you can say. I know that there are 4 of them. How are they gonna work?
So you start all the way down from Seal of the Blooded and then all the way up to Seal of the Worthy. What this basically means is that just running through the gauntlet at all is going to get you that first seal, but you're going to have to crack through higher and higher amounts of total score to rank up to the highest seal. The reason why you want to do that, it's not just bragging rights, as much as the majority of this truly is, but at the end of the week, not only are you going to get a cash just for running the gauntlet every time, you know, a small amount of items, just to say like, hey, good job, you spent your time. But on top of that, if you actually reach the end of the week and you've reached the Seal of the Worthy, you're going to get all of the caches for the 4 seals below that. You're going to get automatic
Barbarian's gonna destroy
925
everything in
item
here.
power that can be ancestral legendary. that can even increase all the
Absolutely
rest of the
everything.
unique. So it's a much better incentive for people who don't just care about the ego part of it. You know, they're like, hey, I participate. I want to get something out of it. You do too. And being able to get that loot at the end of the week is that nice little cherry on top.
What did he say? You get a
And I
unique?
think that we are ready for our second player. We're gonna be joined really, really soon by the Ball Lightning Sorceress, guys. John Constable, Senior
Ball
Gameplay
Lightning,
Engineer, gonna
poo-poo.
be showing us the Sorceress gameplay, the Sorceress Gauntlet. Let's go. I hope. Yeah, we are. We are starting, guys. We are entering once again our gauntlet. Once again, guys, the same map, the same big boss is waiting for you right in the end. Also, our sorceress choosing the same gameplay, the same decision was made, skipping the first boss, moving further into the dungeon, trying to get the second boss, probably some pillars. That's an interesting strategy here. And guys, this is a ball lightning sorceress. This is community beloved build that in season 2, I don't know, absolutely everyone was playing ball lightning
Yeah, I didn't
sorceress.
play it.
But I don't know. Probably now everyone will be playing Incinerate Sorceress because Incinerate was buff. But
Yeah, but you're
here we
standing
have
still
Ball
with
Lightning,
Incinerate.
and Ball Lightning using Tal Rush's
Ball
Wing
lightning's fast.
buff your Ball Lightning damage with the power of the multiple elements. Yep. Here we go. One more boss is here.
The best part about, I mean, there's going to be strengths and weaknesses to every build, right? You're probably going to end up seeing a meta where there are builds that only care about clearing of the trash, that are primarily focused on getting those bosses dead and getting those shrines, because the shrines are going to give you power, obviously. They're also going to give you movement speed. I wouldn't be surprised if sneaking in some shrine duration buff onto either your amulet or your boots ends up being really powerful in the gauntlet here. That's a quick little pro tip from your boy. But there's not necessarily one right way to do this. On top of that, every class, every ladder that you're in is actually judged individually. So necromancers are going to be judged against other necromancers, sorceresses against other sorceresses, so on and so forth. So where some builds may not have the mobility, but they have the boss kill speed, or maybe they have the density clearing, but not the mobility, the exact strategy for each individual class is going to really make or break what ends up being the meta
43
for
goes
the
to what?
gauntlet, which is one of the things that I think is the most
It's
interesting
9,000
about
right
this.
there for killing that.
Whereas things like the Abattoir of Zir really just pushed us to the question of how do you do the most damage and survive the most damage? Here, some of those considerations aren't really as important. We're playing a different game at this point. But the Ball Lightning Sorcerer is like amazing mobility, great density clearing. You notice that slowed down a little bit against that boss, though. Depending on the scenario, this might be one of those builds where you basically ignore the bosses whenever possible, unless they have a particularly juicy shrine that you really want to
9,000
moving
that you
through.
got for killing that boss, though. It didn't
Here
take
we
that
have
long.
Yeah,
increased favor drops. We got the reset there, so he's actually able to pop right back into that room where he just got a shrine, kill this boss again. It's just really interesting to see what kind of meta is going to develop as we get further and further into the season.
Yeah, this doesn't take that long for them.
Yeah, here we
It'll take-
see. Actually, yeah, our
Won't take-
sorceress
I
is
don't think
going
it's gonna take
pretty
that
good.
long for
Yeah,
me
on the
either, though.
bosses. Probably, yeah,
see.
it's worth it to stay here again to spam the pylon and to use the power of the pylon. And guys, gonna tell you a little secret. You better not die in the counter. Hardcore players, yeah, I understand, but for softcore players, if you're gonna die, you're gonna lose the third of your score. You're gonna respawn in the dungeon. You will be able to pick up your score, but only if you will run back to the place where you died. And yeah, this is again, you're wasting way too much time if you're dying in the gauntlet. Here, once again, our sorceress, by the way, current score of our sorceress is 1k, a little bit, we just reached 1k, going really good. Progressing further and further into the dungeon. One more pylon is waiting for us, and I want the chest. I want someone to finally open the chest. But yeah,
They already did
so
open a
far,
chest.
no one can get the key. The keys are quite rare. Only special monsters are dropping them.
He dropped one like
Yep.
right at the beginning.
4 minutes left.
Yeah, so just over the halfway point, it does look like the sorceress, their natural mobility. I mean, she could teleport, right? That's obviously going to go a little bit faster than somebody running on their two legs, but already doing a really good showing. We're definitely going to crack over that 200k, probably closer to like maybe 300, depending on whether or not he turns on the turbo boosters here. But you're talking about those keys, and maybe I'm just going to spitball this while we're watching here. My mind's kind of already going crazy, theory crafting, trying to figure out what's going to be the best way here. But to be able to open up these chests, like you said, you have to kill specific monsters in the dungeon. They will drop the key. Now, there's the regular chest, there's a golden chest. Obviously, big gold chest, worth more points. But the interesting part here is that how valuable is that for you in your current route is going to completely depend on where you went first. Do you zerg your way all the way up to that key, knowing that you passed by a gold chest in your typical, fully optimized route? Or is that just not part of your strategy at all? there's an interesting dichotomy there where it's just like, depending on where the keys are spawning on the monsters in that week's gauntlet, maybe they are huge, maybe they're pivotal to how you can actually
Yeah,
get
I'm
the
just gonna be
highest
dropping
possible.
flame walls everywhere, man, and
You kind of have to
fucking
make the
melting
decision.
everything.
A couple seconds left in your run, you're like, hey, I got 1 or 2 keys. I see a couple normal chests coming up. I know I'm not going to be able to reach the gold chests since those are in the same spots as well. I'm going to make that mad dash. I'm going to get back up into there, get those 2 little chests. Sure, that's like good enough for me on this run. But being able to make
What is
those
up with this
decisions in the
fucking
heat of the moment, or at least at first,
quality? Is this on
when
my end?
everybody
It's not on
doesn't
my end.
necessarily have their best route already
on their
mapped
end.
out at that point, is going to be where those like small little spikes in score. I'm really, really excited to see the leaderboard as it develops. Obviously, you're going to be able to see the actual builds that people are bringing into the gauntlet on that same leaderboard, but you're not necessarily going to know how they ran through it, how they prioritize killing bosses versus the elites, etc.
Yeah, unless you watch it on
there's still
YouTube.
gonna be a little bit of mystery.
Then
but at
you'll
the very
know
least,
for
you'll be able to
sure.
copy the build if you can at least see the gear that they have.
I think there's gonna be a lot of mystery. Actually, how I see it right now, it's really a lot about your strategy and not that much. Yeah, your build obviously will be super important. How quick are you? How quick you can kill the big groups of monsters? How quick you can kill the bosses? But your strategy, I think this will be the key. Your path through this dungeon, this will be deciding. And yes, the leaderboard will be moving from day 1, and on the very last day, someone gonna sneak in and will be the top of the leaderboard. Yep, interesting times ahead. Our sorceress, guys, closing almost 200k, and we entered this beautiful room with a lot of chests. We had 2 keys. We opened 1 chest. We opened the 2nd chest. We are getting a lot of points. We are really close to 200k, and we are moving forward. White chest and yellow chest, they both actually cost only 1 key to open. But obviously, the yellow chests, they are bigger, they are shiny, they are giving you way more points.
So why wouldn't you
need
open
to
those?
focus, you need to prioritize if you can, you need to prioritize the yellow chests. We reached 208k, 43 seconds left.
The other thing that I just really want to hammer on here is, again, so this sorceress's score, although it's going to be a little bit higher than the necros that we just saw, not by a country mile or anything, but this score is insular to this one leaderboard. The sorceress's score is only going to be compared against everybody else running the sorceress. While you can check your ego and check against the other necromancers, that has no impact at all looking at any other class about how you're going to rank in that leaderboard, whether or not you're going to be immortalized in the halls forever if you hit that top 10 rank. But on top of that, it's not going to impact this, the rewards that you get or anything like that. You just need to worry about what every other sorceress in this game is doing. If you're in a party, you only need to worry about what those other party sizes are doing. It's probably my favorite part about this. You know, while there's going to be
Seal of the
differences between
worthy.
the classes, I only need to worry about my class. But perfect. Sorry, I was
What if you just
gammering
get a
on here. We got
200,000
another
like right
Seal
off
of
the bat?
Worthy completion, over 200k score.
Do
7
you
bosses,
still get the
39
blood?
elite
What
monsters,
is it, whatever the blood one
674
was?
monsters. If I could ask for
Blood note?
anything, I'd love to see these kind of stats basically at the end of all content in the game. Maybe I'm asking for too much, but seeing those numbers like itches some really good part in my min-max brain there.
Yeah, it's really nice to see actually what I accomplished, how many poor demonic souls I sent back to hell. Yeah, I can understand. And we got the reward immediately after each time when you're entering the gauntlet, you're gonna be getting a small reward, and you're gonna be getting a big reward in the end of each week, depending which seal you reached. I think we are
That's not what
preparing
I want.
our 3rd player. We're preparing Leviathan. He's almost ready. He's gonna be joining us with a barbarian, with a Hota charge bard. I know everyone wanna see it, so he's gonna be crashing it really soon. Yeah,
Charge
guys?
Hoda Barb. That is like that's going to be season 3. Season 3 is going to be Charge Hoda Barb. We can just put that up on a banner somewhere. We could take down the construct symbol and just put Charge Hoda.
What do I have? I have charge.
No, but Leviathan is an absolute legend
I'm
from the
doing charge
community.
bleed.
Fun fact about Leviathan: we actually lived in the same city for like a grip, and we just never got the chance to actually sync up.
For
But just
a
like
grip?
you were able to meet him at BlizzCon, he's a phenomenal dude. Shoutouts to Leviathan. But it looks like we're actually ready, so let's go ahead and hop into it. Enough sharing, anecdotal stories. Let's see this Hoda Barb. Big boy, big sword.
Let's see.
Excited for this.
Let's see. Yep, he is
just
not
doing
skipping the
Hoda
first
Barb
pass.
things. No, he decided that
Yep.
15
Easy.
million overpower was the way he wanted to approach this scenario.
You're just gonna
But the
fucking
charge
charge
barb.
everything.
So this is, I think this is kind of like the apex predator of this type of content. We are working with a mobility skill in charge that's also going to be able to clear the trash for you. You have giant Hoda smashes so you can bring down bosses quickly, as long as he has all of his buffs going up. And basically being able to meld these two concepts together is what every class build strategy is ultimately going to have to look for. You know, maybe you're running double mobility aspects, both one on your boots and one on your amulet, as opposed to worrying about putting another damage aspect there. Because again,
Why
remember,
would you
these
never
monsters
do?
are only level
Why would you
124.
not do that
Means that
ever?
they're 30 levels lower than any tier 100 content you're doing. And I figured this guy was about to get two-shot, but he's giving up a little bit more of a fight here. Let's see it. There we go, Leviathan. GG. Big channeling shrine, more mobility, not worrying about resource. This is what we're looking for in Gauntlet content. This power. Jeez. All right, calm down. We need something to be able to talk about here, Leviathan, my boy.
No, he's absolutely smashing, he's absolutely destroying, but like this, if you're not gonna plant, you're gonna soon run out of the monsters. You need to focus on where actually the shrines that are resummoning the monsters are. And yeah, hopefully he has the plan. Yep, he's absolutely flying through this dungeon, picking up everything. His score already 64-8. Quite insane. And yeah, I believe.
Yep, I'll
our
definitely play with
Leviathan, by the way,
Barbarian
he
too.
was one of the best
Do 'em both every week.
hunters that there
Fucking why
is
not?
in Diablo 3 back in the days.
See what we
And
get.
now, and absolutely understandable why he's smashing also on this barbarian here. And what is also really, really cool, that you need to obviously memorize the map. You need to memorize where all the monsters are. You need to memorize where the shrines are. What we have here, apparently all the shrines that are resummoning the monsters, the shrines that are giving you also extra score, they're located mostly in one part of the dungeon, and the chests are located in the other part of the dungeon. So yeah, guys, there's gonna be a lot of planning, a lot of strategizing here.
Something interesting to note. All right, I'm going to get a little bit deep on details here, because I assume most people haven't studied how shrines work in this game enough to know the numbers off the top of their head. But basically what you're looking at is a 30-second buff that is also going to give you 35% movement speed. The cool part about shrines is that each one of them can layer on top with other unique shrines. So you can have a channeling shrine, as well as a blast wave shrine, as well as an artillery shrine, etc., etc. But getting the same shrine again doesn't actually do anything for you. While it's going to reset that 30-second timer, it's not like you have double blast wave and double movement speed. So when we saw that loop where he actually came back through and immediately killed that boss again, while it makes sense, he knows it's there, he knows it's worth a lot of good score, that doesn't necessarily mean he got the total benefit out of that single shrine. And being able to basically lily hop, or frog hop over these shrines, always maintaining at least one constant buff for them, might be a way of being able to add on mobility to a build that doesn't normally have it. So maybe you're a huge boss killer, but you can't fit mobility anywhere. As long as you can plan out how often you get these shrines, you could effectively link together a full 8 minutes of shrine buff, maybe even longer. There's so many things that you could be picking out of here, right? Stopping at individual little monster packs to make sure that you're maintaining your buffs. So even if you're not necessarily killing them, or they're not high value, you know that you're going to be operating at maximum efficiency when you walk into the next room, where we always will know there will be an elite monster, or there will always be a boss monster in one of these tiles here. My brain is going crazy right now. The more that I see from this content, it's just like so exciting to have something to really strive for in this game. Right? We got the gear, we finished all of our farming, all of our grinding. What do we do with it? Well, here's what we do with it. Now we actually have something to test those builds, to re-theory craft on top of. Not to mention all the changes coming in this patch alone.
He's gonna get like
rethink all the builds I was
350,000.
expecting to be able to bring into here and test them. That's probably the biggest.
It's crazy.
The biggest chagrin I got is, geez, I gotta come up with all brand new builds to incorporate the vampire powers, as well as whatever changes actually come to the core skills themselves as well.
You can hear that Macro is starting theory crafting already right now. He's already talking here, I'm turning left, here I'm turning right, here I'm touching this. We already in the process of creating the guide how to do it. Our Barbarian, 217k total amount of proofs of might, going really, really strong. It was actually really, really cool. We were already saying that every character has the separate leaderboard. Also, every character, the amount of score, the total score, the amount proofs of worth that you need to earn to be able to reach different seals, also different for different characters. And this is absolutely amazing because you don't have to compete with different classes in absolutely any way. And this is great. You also have 2-place leaderboard, 3-place leaderboard, 4-place leaderboard. In total, together with the hardcore, we're getting 16 leaderboards here. It's
16.
amazing, and it's all coming already next week. They're gonna be a lot of fun. Leviathan is moving really, really quick. We have 2 minutes left. We are hitting 236k. He is going on the second run. Basically, he is going again, repeating again his run, but he resetted all the monsters. He has here really, really good choice. He did really good choices, and he had really good chances.
That's a secret substat that I wish we could see on this board. How many total miles or kilometers have you run through this individual gauntlet? Because I'm pretty sure Leviathan has cleared this thing out already 3 times over, and he's still got a cool minute and a half left on the timer here. Definitely going to crack over 300k as long as he doesn't hit a dry patch where nothing had been respawned yet. But I mean, the dude's great at what he does. There's a reason why you anchor him here, being able to show off the best of the best. And the other interesting part,
you're tell me that this is going to be the number 1 run for the whole
is
season?
You don't just get the rewards from one ladder. There's nothing stopping you from going and doing this on your Barbarian, doing this on your alternate Necromancer, doing this in multiple group types. You could theoretically hit the top of every single ladder. If you're, a crazy master grinder like Wudijo, maybe you go crack softcore and hardcore ladder 2. Why not? There's nothing stopping you from competing in as many of these arenas as you have builds to be able to support that competitive nature. I'm only going to worry about the Necromancer. I don't have it in my brain to think about a single other class with how much I need to worry about theory crafting this one. But I'm wondering who's going to be able to collect the most top leaderboard spots, eating them all up.
Oh, I'm pretty sure that's going to be the new community challenge. Be able to be number 1 on 16 leaderboards. Okay.
Yeah, man.
Okay, I'm wondering who that's gonna be now when this content actually will be in the game. We have
I hope nobody does that.
A little bit more than 10 seconds left. We're gonna
Then
hit
that takes away the fun.
Then,
sure.
300k,
Come on,
boy.
come on, find
That's what we need to
something,
see.
someone.
He did too good.
Almost.
He killed everything already. Oh,
Almost.
so close, boss.
So
So
close.
close. See these numbers though.
298K.
That's crazy. 81 monsters, 53 elites, 9 bosses. Obviously the most that we saw out of any showing, but phenomenal job here by Leviathan, as always.
So
It's
Necromancer's
exactly what we
the
expected
weakest.
from him.
Still. I bet Druid's going to be able to smash through shit too.
I'm really, really excited, and I really like that you can get
Rogue
not
will be at the
only
same level
rewards
as Sorceress,
that
probably.
we're
It's going to
getting
be
the weekly
Barbarian, Druid,
by getting the new
Rogue
map
and
absolutely
Sorceress,
every single
and
week.
then
We're getting the
Necromancer
rewards in the end
with the
of every
lowest
single week.
scores. Watch.
We're also getting the rewards after every single run. And yep, I'm happy that the people who are probably not seduced by the leaderboards will be anyway tempted to try it and to see maybe the leaderboard, maybe the gauntlet is something for them. Interesting. Really, really excited about what's waiting for us next week. What are you excited about the gauntlet content?
I mean, if I had to pick just one thing, it really comes down to this idea of developing a strategy over a week. We realize, right, as content creators, as streamers, we have a bit of privilege here. The funny part being that everybody is going to be able to watch your strategies. If you're making videos about it, if you're going over strategies, discussing it, basically it's out there. It's open for people to be able to see. So being able to come up with these, maybe a little secret strategy, maybe you save it till just the last couple days and you actually finally test it out. That's probably what's going to be the most exciting for me. It's just this idea of it's not just about damage, it's not just about stats on your gear, it's how good of a plan can you actually create, and how well can you execute on it, which truly tests the player's skill.
I mean, the key is just making sure that there are always monsters up so that you can kill them.
That's just going to go ahead and do it for us. This has been such
And
a pleasure,
destroying
thank you very
bosses
much
as
for,
fast as you can.
sharing this with
Because
me.
if you can
I
destroy
hope that everybody
bosses,
really
then you can
enjoyed what they
destroy
saw
everything
here.
else pretty easily.
I actually hope so too, and yeah, macro theory crafter here, absolutely. had zero doubts that you're going to say this. Guys, it was an incredible pleasure to be here. I am Yuk, who was really, really happy to comment on our first gauntlet. I'm Anna Cake Live. I don't know, follow, like, and subscribe. And we... Macro, you want to say something? You want to add something?
Yeah. And again, my name is Macrobioboy. Macrobioboy on everything. If you care to see me go try to smash the Necker through this gauntlet. Thank you again to everybody. It was an absolute honor here. I think we're going to go ahead and throw it back to Adam and everybody in the studio. Hope that everybody enjoyed seeing the gauntlet, and I can't wait to see you all out there next week.
I enjoyed it, and I'm going to play it.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Macro.
Yeah,
Anna,
let's see how
for
we do.
taking us through that. Of course, our 3 volunteers from the dev team. We got John, we got Steven, and Liam for running through.
Yeah, everybody did great. Yeah.
Steven actually hit, actually all of them hit higher scores than they did when we were first running through this.
They did.
They were learning.
Somebody
They were learning the dungeon because again, with Gauntlet, it is a weekly dungeon that does get changed
That's
over.
fixed. I mean, every spawn, every creature you come through, every chest location, every key drop, like every boss, every shrine, yeah, it's all fixed every time you do the runs. And that's what allows you to have that sense of like, okay, I know a little bit more about this space now. I can run it again. I'll do a little bit better.
Yeah.
It makes a huge difference.
Yeah, and I know with we saw some questions of like players, you know, are going like, hey, because we have 3 different classes here, and again, they're all on their own unique leaderboards themselves.
Yeah, every class has its own unique leaderboard. So when you're playing, you know, Charged Barbarian for the season, you're playing against other barbarians, you know, on the
Which you
leaderboard.
got left?
But we also have 2-player, 3-player, and 4-player leaderboards as well for players who want to get into parties and try to compete. So we think that's gonna be really, really exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I know
PTR
in regards
coming
to,
soon.
Rewards and stuff, like depending on the seal that you get, you'll actually get more caches, and the caches themselves offer up a 925 like ancestral that I believe is in each cache. So I believe if you get a seal of worthy, you end up getting 4 each time. And these aren't exactly like the idea of Gauntlet itself is really aspirational. So there are opportunities for players themselves to, of course, earn themselves into the Hall of the Ancients each week, and then you're kind of added onto a permanent record, you could say, put it on your resume type of thing.
Forever how long it lasts.
Forever, for each week in the Hall of the Ancients, depending on where you actually land on the leaderboards.
Yeah, we don't really want to see the Gauntlet and the Trials feature as a place where players go to try to get gear for their builds. It's really more of a place where players are going to go once they've got like really good builds put together to kind of try things out. But yeah, for players who do manage to clear, for every seal that they manage to complete at the end of the week, based on their highest ranking, they're going to get a cache that you called out. And there's a high chance of unique items actually appearing in these caches as well.
High chance.
You can get 925 uniques out of these. But again, these are really like, you know, more augmenting other things you've been collecting over the course of the season, not like being the primary reason that you're going to this space in the first place.
Yeah, and we actually have
Should be a
blog
high
that's
level
going,
of uber
up
uniques.
after the
Not
stream that actually details out all the information.
Not fucking,
in,
especially
the
since you have the
Gauntlet,
crafting
including,
mechanism.
some other
Like
rewards
still
as
having to
well,
go and kill
for
Durian
players that hit like the really, really high ranks of, you know,
for
where they
good
can
chances
get
at
their
uber uniques is fucking
cosmetic items as well for
sadness.
Gauntlet. So Gauntlet again hitting next Tuesday, and I know for like the first couple weeks we want to make sure that players are jumping in, trying it out, especially with these new changes that are coming with the mid-season update, the vampiric powers and everything like that. And then you know, let us know what you guys
Everybody's
think,
gonna use
and then
metamorphosis.
post up feedback on, you know, Reddit,
Gods-
forums, social
not Gods
media.
there, and
We're going to be
Tybalt's will.
checking it out for Gauntlet, making any tweaks if we need to make any
Watch.
tweaks. And then I know we actually have a cool contest that's coming up here, starting on that's tied back to Gauntlet. It's actually starting on March 19th. We're calling it Leaderboard Legends, but the top players in each of the leaderboards, and there are again leaderboards for all the different classes, for all solo, and at the same time for hardcore as well. So if you play in hardcore and if you die in a Gauntlet, your character's gone. It is hardcore for that reason. So, but we will have opportunities for players.
Who's
to
gonna
actually
die at a
earn
level 70?
an
You gotta be
exclusive
playing
art
really
print
stupid
from
to
an
die at
artist
level
named,
70.
Mika Ulrich. He's
I'm already
a
at it.
huge
I'm at
Diablo
94.
fan.
My
He
shit's not
actually
even
is making
close to
a
optimized.
customized art print.
Not
That
even
contest
close.
itself will be running for
Like there
2
are
weeks,
so
we'll
many
have
more
information
gear
on that
updates I
contest as
can
we get
do.
closer
There's still a
to,
whole bunch of
March,
stuff in my
March
Paragon
19th,
board.
but
There's
players
still
that do compete on the leaderboards, they'll have the opportunity of actually
glyph
earning,
increases. Like
exclusive, like customized
you want to
art
get
print as
everything
well,
to
which is actually
21 for
pretty
sure.
cool. So
That's not gonna
Gauntlet
happen
shipping
before
next
this
Tuesday,
starts.
and it'll be in our, of course, our
But maybe,
mid-season
we'll
patch
see.
notes that we have going up tomorrow. So, and we have a blog going later today with a lot of stuff posted. So,
Yeah.
There's a
really
blog
cool
too.
Stuff happening.
Yes,
now here with the back
exactly.
end. Yeah.
See, the sad thing is
one
that
thing
like
we did wanna
they
hit
do a
on,
lot of stuff
this
all
is,
at once, and then it's
some
just like
pretty big
fucking
news
dead
from our
silence.
end.
It's like
One is it's an update
trickle
regarding
this shit out,
season
guys.
4.
Keep people that are
and I
hungry
know
for this
Joe,
information
Yeah,
fed.
wanted to talk a little
Nobody
bit about
wants
that.
to
So I'm
starve.
very- I'm very
Starving sucks
excited,
ass.
So we've been talking about season 4 a little bit.
Nobody likes to starve.
Leading up to the release of season 3, I mentioned some things about season 4. We know there's gonna be a lot of changes being made in that season. You may recall, for some of you who've been around since the launch of the game, we had some streams after season 1 went live. We talked a little bit about some of the changes we wanted to make in season 2. And we remember that, like, vulnerable damage to vulnerable targets was like an extremely powerful stat, an all-encompassing stat, really, in that part of the game. And we had to go back and we really wanted to take a harder and longer look at that, look at overpowering some other things, and try to get the game into a better place. There were just more viable stats for players to proceed with. And that was a good amount of work, I think, that we can
Yeah, it
suggest.
was.
And yeah, it was a really great impact on the game overall, but it was, there's some work involved. Season 4 goes well beyond like the scope and scale and changes that we made in season 2, particularly with regards to things like our stats, attributes, and the way that rewards work. So while there were a lot of things that we did in season 2, and we're really happy with a lot of things in season 2 as a result, there was a much better version and expression of the game experience overall. We have a lot more planned in season 4. And the team has been hard at work for months and months working on a lot of these things.
Months and months, man.
So season 3 came out, and we had some changes with it. I think it's gone very, very well. There's a lot of really fun stuff in season 3.
Yeah,
Season
it's a
4
fun
is
season.
Gonna be responding to a lot more
I'm enjoying it.
reward concerns that players have, things with regards to itemization, and other things we're not going to talk about just yet. But the news that we actually wanted to talk about today is that we're going to be opening up a PTR for season 4, so that we can get a chance to let the community come in and test it extensively before.
Everybody's gonna live in the
content actually goes
PTR
live
instead of the
launches.
fucking live game.
So it'll be coming up, while season 3 is still active. The season 4 PTR will go live, and players get a chance to check that out and give us the feedback, and they find issues and balance things, and we'll get a chance to kind of interpret all that and make some changes.
I mean, it makes sense. It
Yeah,
does.
and I know
but
players themselves.
yeah,
have
what's
been
gonna happen
asking,
is like
hey,
everybody that
how can we make Diablo
has
experience? We wanna
the
be a part of
ability to
it.
play this
You know,
8 to
it's
10
something that
hours
the
a
team
day
here has most definitely heard.
is gonna finish
As
all
Joe
of the season
mentioned, there's a
content in
ton
like
of
3
changes,
weeks
especially around itemization that are
for
coming
like every
into
character.
Season 4, so the team
And
here
then-
really did feel
Then they're gonna live in the
for,
fucking PTR
a
because that's
PTR
where
for
all the new
players to
stuff
jump in,
is.
try it out, provide their feedback, while season 3 is still active, of course, because we want to make sure that players are jumping in before season 4 actually does start, and giving us that feedback so we can make any type of
I mean, it does
changes
give
from our end.
those people
And I know the team
more
here has
things to
been
do and
doing
more
a lot
reason
of
to
work
continue to play
incorporate a
Diablo.
BTR into Diablo 4, especially for the first time. And so what we will say is, like, PTR, of course, will be before season 4 starts. We'll actually have more information here in the coming weeks. We're actually going to have another Campfire chat specifically focused around PTR and the content that you'll be playing in PTR. So it's kind of, it will be a little bit of a reveal of what you'll be experiencing in season 4 as well. So it's going to be...
There'll be some things we'll hold on to talk about.
Some things we'll hold on, not everything, but
a huge amount of stuff.
There's gonna be a lot.
Huge amount of stuff to talk about.
And I will say it will be we're already talking about it and going like, wow, it's going to be a pretty beefy Campfire chat coming up here in the next couple of weeks. We'll have more info soon. But and one thing that we did want to note is it is just PC Battle.net. To be as agile as we want to be with the changes on PTR, PC Battle.net was the best option for us. So players on PC Battle.net
you
will
own
be
it
able
and
to
control it.
experience the PTR
Of course.
themselves. And I will say with
Like-
PTR, because of the changes that are coming with season 4 and the amount of changes,
I mean, that's
as
reasonable.
I said, the team felt like, hey, we need a PTR to make sure that this happens. Does that mean we'll have a PTR every single season? Maybe not. It depends on the scale of changes that we have. But for season 4, we most definitely
it's
plan
not
on
an
having a
ever-living PTR, huh?
And so we'll have news on that really soon. So we're really excited that
Okay.
players can jump in, provide feedback. I know it's a long-awaited thing that people have been going like, oh, we would love to be able to jump in and provide some
Yeah,
feedback.
absolutely.
Long
I mean,
awaited,
I've
the
been
game
playing
hasn't even
season
been out
4
for a
internally
year,
for
like-
weeks at this point, leveling up character from 1 to 100, and it's a blast. I'm really looking forward to getting more feedback and like thoughts, just getting more eyeballs on some of the stuff that we have planned. It's gonna be very, very cool.
Awesome. So yeah, like I said, we'll be back here in the next few weeks. We'll have information on when that Campfire chat will be for PTR and all the information that you guys will be
the sad thing,
experiencing
and it's not sad,
that
it's
PTR
fucking great,
specifically.
but it's
So-
also
And just
sad.
because
is
I know
that there are
like,
so many
not
games that
everyone
I
has
wanna play right
experienced
now. Like, I'd
PTRs.
love to
I
spend more
probably should
time in
define what a
Overwatch.
PTR is.
Yeah,
It is,
I-
it is
I would enjoy,
a
I'm
public test
sure,
realm. It is the ability of players
getting a
being able
character to
jump
100 in
into
last
a
epoch.
earlier build
I want to play
and kind of like test it out.
Spider-Man
Think of
2,
it like
which I
almost
bought
a
like
mini
months ago and
beta
haven't
test
ever
of some
played.
sort,
And
to
Final
experience
Fantasy
content that is
7
coming down the
Rebirth
line,
looks like it's
so
fun
that
too.
they can actually
Go back to a game
provide
that I
feedback
played when I
on
was in
those,
college.
and then we can make
or
changes before things
around
do go
there.
live.
I don't
We've
think I was
had
in college
PTRs
then.
for Diablo 2,
But it
we have
looks like
PTRs
it's
for
like
Diablo 3,
graphically
and of course now we
enhanced
have
and
PTRs for Diablo
potentially
4,
way
so,
better.
really
It's one of
excited for
the
that.
best
Again,
Final
we'll
Fantasy
be back
games I ever played, for sure. I like the ones where you're actually outdoing,
We'll now jump into
roaming, and
Q&A.
killing instead of like
So yeah,
standing there and
we
turn
know
by
that
turn.
a lot of
I
people
really can't stand
have
turn by
questions,
turn.
and we'll try to get through as many
Which
as
is why I never
possible.
played Baldur's
And
Gate.
then,
I just can't stand it. Even
and then
even
again,
if the
we'll
story is
provide
fucking
everyone,
amazing,
at the end
I
of the
just
stream
don't
with,
like the
checking out
mechanism of turn by
the site
turn.
for
I
all
really
the gauntlet
don't.
information and stuff like that if we can't get to stuff.
It's
Vlog's
boring
going
to me.
live.
Vlogs going
Yep.
live.
Yep.
So I know one question that we've seen a lot, at least within the community, is regarding the changes in 1.3.2 with the crafting changes to Uber, the ability of being able to craft Uber uniques. And we've seen some feedback from players related to that, especially related to like Resplendent Sparks, how many are required for them. I know you guys wanted to talk about that really quickly.
Yeah, I'll jump into this first, right? So for the uninitiated 1.3.2 in our last patch, we put in the ability for players to be able to craft these Uber unique items of their choice once they reach World Tier 4. And they require Resplendent Sparks to do so. And you get Resplendent Sparks by finding another Uber unique, which are very rare, salvaging them, and then that gives you the one material that you need. Now, at launch, you need 5 Resplendent Sparks in order to craft one of these Uber uniques. In the next patch, where the Gauntlet's going live and the trial system is going live, we're going to be reducing that from 5 to 4. Now, why do we choose these numbers? So, alongside those changes we made, and as part of that last release, we also dramatically increased the drop rate of Uber uniques from non-Duriel sources. So while Duriel gives you a fairly steady drop rate chance, still low, obviously, it's hard to find Uber unique items in general. They're very rare and very powerful. It was exceptionally rare, as I think most players would understand, to find Uber uniques outside of the encounter Uber Duriel, which is one of the reasons why Uber Duriel is so popular. We did dramatically increase that drop rate chance. It's still very rare, right? So you're not going to be seeing it all the time, but we are seeing a dramatic uptick in the number of Uber uniques that are dropping throughout the game as a result of this. So why go from, if we heard some of the concerns about the number 5, why would we go from just a 20% reduction to 4? So we are seeing more of these Uber uniques dropping across the board, as I suggested. And this is sort of us beginning to get a sense of how players are interacting with these features as we start looking towards Season 4.
Is it even being used?
In terms of like the number of
Who
Uber
the
uniques
fuck
that are
has
dropping, the way that
5
players
Uber
are
uniques
engaging with various parts
that
of
they
the,
don't
game
want?
overall to like farm
Like,
up
who
these
the
items.
fuck
We're
has
seeing
that?
some changes in patterns, which is really cool.
Nobody.
We just want to let things evolve a little bit and see how things proceed. And as we kind of get into Season 4, we'll be looking at making potentially further adjustments based upon reception and how we see the numbers actually doing. We still want
I know
Uber
I
uniques
don't.
to remain
I have
a spot where
one
they are
in the
very
whole year, I think.
aspirational. They're not expected for every build to have them in order for them to come online and feel fun. Obviously, players really want them. You want them for your characters. They're really potent. But they shouldn't be the thing that is enabling you to really do something fun with your class.
Yeah, and I agree with
It's an
that.
extra layer on top of your class once you've managed to get
It's
one.
some additional juice.
Awesome. Question that we have here is, are we getting any endgame content in season? I'm sorry, I was supposed to read the name.
Oh God,
Hey,
here
you
we go
don't
again.
put your names, it doesn't
I
count.
mean, the
Juck
fucking
Wax.
gauntlet is
Juck Wax.
endgame content.
Juck Wax?
content.
Juck Wax.
Or Juck with
Juck.
a J.
Juck with the J.
I'm sure everyone's really happy that we're spending all this time on this. Go ahead.
Very important.
Are we getting any endgame content in season 4?
So I'm not allowed to talk about Season 4 today, but I would recommend that you definitely check out the PTR stream when we start talking about a lot of the content players are going to get a chance to test as part of that PTR release, because there is a lot of stuff that's going to be happening, particularly for endgame players.
There we go. There's a question regarding
Wink.
Gauntlet. Wink. Wink.
I said it, so that's
So, congratulations. We have a question from Globusnus. That was, why is
Globusnuts.
the level difficulty only Nightmare 70 for the Gauntlet?
Yes. So we wanted to make sure that Gauntlet content felt like something players could start trying to dig into immediately upon entering World Tier 4. Why did we do this? We want players to be able to like ramp up through the content as they're leveling up through that last World Tier, and we wanted to see how players were going to react to it, basically as a result of that. Like, do players ever want to try playing through it at 85? Because when you're playing through the Gauntlet, there's the seals that I think were discussed during the playthrough. the players can earn based on the point scores you're able to get. If you're crushing those point scores, you're getting rewards for doing that. And it gives you that sense of progression as you go, and you get more and more of your gear online. You find more of the uniques you need. You manage to get like you start getting your 925 items online. Like a lot of your player power can come online as you get your glyphs leveled up and things. It doesn't mean that you need to wait to level at a very high level to be able to go do that content. So we want to make it available. And we also want to focus a little bit more on how quickly players can navigate the space, use shrines to the best effect, reset creature spawns, fight bosses, spawn bosses. We want to focus more on the strategy element of it rather than the sense that monsters had much higher hit point values and dealt much more damage as part of the run. We weren't looking to like recreate like the AOZ moment, for example, as part of the space. We want this to be a little bit faster, a little bit more approachable for players of different like gear scores effectively when they start getting and build power parity when they start getting to the space. Having like a fully tricked out build is going to be very, very useful because it's just going to allow you to blast a lot faster.
Yeah, and also I'd like just to double down, like the purpose of the gauntlet isn't, it's not meant to be really, really hard to get through at all, where like if you just finish it, that's an accomplishment, right? Like AOZ was more that room, like can you beat it?
Yeah.
And that's not what the gauntlet is. The gauntlet is about how quickly can you beat it, how do you optimize, how do you strategize, how do you change your route? It's a different thing that we're testing for players. It's not just about defeating it at all.
It's about the point score.
Yes.
Speaking of AOZ, Sparky Cork 7 asks, any AOZ content coming soon?
I just really recommend, again, check out, just
really look at
like,
that stream.
there's a lot of
like,
stuff happening in the
stream.
PTR stream. I just really recommend just get a chance to check out that stream. I would recommend it.
I'm going to answer this really quickly because Shark Cohen had asked, is the P and PTR public or private? It is public. So if you are a PC Battle.net user, you'll be able to actually jump into the PTR. We'll have instructions and everything of how to do that once we have
It's just
PTR,
another client you gotta install.
the stream and everything like that for players.
Like every other game.
Is PTR free from Midwest Bob? Yes, it
Yeah.
is. Is there an NDA? No, there's not an NDA. Can you stream it? Of course you can. So yes, we'll have more information on that.
That would be
PTR.
stupid.
I know there's
It's
a lot
not
of
public
PTR
one.
questions.
I just want to make really clear, like it is free as long as you are a person who owns Diablo 4 on
Correct.
Battle.net.
Correct.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
correct. Yes. It's if you're already an owner of Diablo 4 on Battle.net. Good clarification. Fonz asks, Adam, will you be able to see a breakdown of individual score relative to the other people in your party in the gauntlet? Actually, that's a good question. If you can go to the leaderboard and actually inspect players, because I haven't done that myself on the build, so.
Yeah, right now it's party score. So it's totaling up the value of your whole team.
Person.
Yeah.
Got it. Okay.
There is no I in team or party.
I guess my own sub-question to that would be on a solo leaderboard, would you be able to actually see someone's build if they have their profile not private or something like that? You actually pull up their character.
Yeah, you'll be able to see the skills they have equipped at the time, and you'll be able to see like their key passive. So yeah, you can't look at their whole skill tree, but like you can see a lot of information about them.
Awesome.
Because we don't talk about this, but we actually did make some updates to the profile screen. We made some updates at the same time. They'll be showing up in that release.
Imligit says, will the Gauntlet leaderboard be region locked? No, because everyone's playing technically on a global server.
That's right.
When you do play with your friends in your own region, you just tend to connect to them. You tend to connect to people that are playing near you because of obviously latency and stuff like that. So,
That's right.
It's a global
does the
server.
companion go with you in the Gauntlet? So I think I saw this comment a lot, especially when Stephen Leviathan was playing through because he was the charge barb. And so a lot of people thought he didn't have a Seneschal construct with him. No, just charge barbs just move really fast. So he most definitely was there. The construct was there and was following him and stuff like that. So
It'll be with
yeah,
me.
it
You
will
can
be
never
with
see it,
inside the
though.
Gauntlet. And just so that you guys are aware, Gauntlet is a feature that is not just Season 3.
Yeah.
It is a feature that goes beyond Season 3. This is a part of Diablo 4 going
Yeah, so
forward.
generally your seasonal powers and things will go into the gauntlet. You'll be able to bring everything to bear that you can.
Yeah, we talked about this quite a bit actually, whether we want that to be the case, and we think it's more fun to allow these things to coexist.
Yeah.
Question from Cody4PF. Why is there minimal mob density in Gauntlet? The barb ran out of density. How am I supposed to play this with my friends? I think players, with Gauntlet is like a different type of like play style. Players will most definitely have you learn the dungeon throughout that week. You'll learn that you can actually take bosses. You don't have to kill that boss right there. You can most definitely bypass it. Maybe even like leash it or bring it with you into other rooms.
You might want to save it because you might want the shrine later. In
Exactly.
a different way.
There are shrines that actually bring back mobs back to life, so you can immediately get additional score. And so there's a lot of strategy involved with it. So I know a lot of people are going like, hey, there are specific moments where like Steven was like, didn't have anyone to kill there. It's mainly because, you know, you can actually strategize and pull specific things and try to figure out exactly what ends up working really well for your character, your build, or how you want to actually maybe use shrines to benefit exactly who you killed there.
Yeah, we're not looking to make a slow-paced experience with the Gauntlet, which I think you probably saw. You saw the players getting a chance to check it out earlier. But we're also not trying to maximize density in the same way that we would like Nightmare Dungeons or Helltide areas. You know, players aren't getting loot drops and they're not getting a lot of experience from these creatures. So that really more the focus is on the player having an idea of like where they can find packs of mobs and where mobs can be found in general in this space, and navigating the environment carefully in order to like maximize their point gain during that time, and then interacting with these other things along the way. Why are you smiling?
It's just, I have a question from someone in here, but this is the most hilarious username.
I look forward to this.
I'm gonna say it, but it's hilarious.
Just go.
Bob Dole's Blue Pills
Okay.
asks,
Very good.
any possibility of getting better cosmetics through gameplay, maybe through gauntlets, skins on par from the shop, etc. This is actually a active conversation that's been happening a lot, especially based off of community feedback.
Bob
that we've
Dole's
seen
Blue
regarding,
Pills.
The shop and stuff. So I will say that we don't have anything to say right now, but we'll have some more news regarding some items related to the shop that we'll be sharing here over the coming weeks and months and stuff that will kind of help with some of this conversation that I know that we've been hearing. Sorry, that name was just wow. Al Quadrodia asks,
Killing over there.
I know, amazing, Adam, perfect. Where can we find new vampiric legendary aspects? This is something we mentioned at the beginning of the stream, and if for people that are just kind of tuning in, vampiric powers are coming back into season 3 a little bit, tuned a little bit differently.
Yeah, some of them.
Yeah, so you'll be able to find them the same way you can find any other legendary in the game. They're just going to be random drops everywhere.
Random
None of them,
drops.
just to clarify, they're not going to be
Nothing in the Codex.
in the dungeons like the Codex of Power. None of them are going in there, but you'll be able to find them just like other legendaries randomly out in the world. So no different than any of those.
Okay.
Awesome. Chronix TR, Nightmare Vaults were a community favorite and very awesome to run through. Will they come back after season 3?
There are a lot of really good learnings from Nightmare Vaults and a lot of the content we have in Season 3 that's kind of advising things we're doing with Nightmare Dungeons across the board. While Nightmare Vaults themselves are not immediately returning like in Season 4, for example, they are also something we're going to continue to look at and think about for future releases. So, but we're really glad that players have found like some value in them and just how exciting they are and
I've
how
enjoyed
punchy they
them.
are on the reward side. Yeah. So yeah, they're fun. They're a great disruption to the Nightmare Dungeon loop sometimes too.
Yeah.
Afrojack365 says, do you guys plan on offering an armory to maybe swap builds? This is something that we've heard a lot over.
We've talked about it before too on stream.
Yeah.
We really like this idea. The systems teams, the UI teams, all like the idea of doing this. There are plans for us to add it somewhere in the future, but we don't have dates to talk about yet. This is something we really like the idea of. We want to make sure that the game is, when we launched the game, we had this idea of like having some sense of like build permanence and things. We thought that was really important.
Yeah, that would suck.
Harkening back some of the some bits in the past from Diablo 2 and other games, but increasingly as we've been continue to build the game and receive feedback and like play it ourselves, we really want to be able to embrace a lot more flexibility. You'll see some like steps that direction also in season 4. But this is an example of a thing where it's like, well, we do, in an effort to make sure the players can kind of change the way they want to play more easily. This is a feature we'd like to support. We want to do it the right way. So this, these are things that we continue to be discussed.
Yeah, and this is on top of like some of the other feedback that we've seen from players going like, hey, like social features and things like that. I know it's a priority within the team, working on things and stuff, and we'll have more info to share here soon on those aspects. I'll end on this. This one's a good one for Mr. Adam Jackson.
Sure.
Because this specifically talks about the Necromancer and some of the changes that are coming. This is from First Time Cheddar. Why would you guys remove damage from Death's Reach's passive? Is that contrary to the no nerfs policy you had mentioned for mid-season updates? Why didn't you just add speed on top of the damage?
Yeah. I would say one, as far as like comparing damage to move speed, I think it's a pretty clear winner that move speed is a better stat and has more power than damage in our game. I think when we think about necromancers in general, even across the game in general, we undervalued move speed as far as how
I don't.
strong it is. Like we
It's
knew it was
fucking
strong
great.
and good, but we didn't realize just how important and like
It's
almost
mandatory, man.
one-dimensional move speed. If you have the option to teleport or move faster or get something quickly, that matters more than pretty
Yes.
much every other stat once you get to a point where you can kill things quickly, right? So as far as why didn't we just like add move speed on top of the damage? Generally, when it comes to our passives, we try to keep our passives simply
Singular.
designed of like this is what the passive does, and it's all themed together and you know like makes sense in a specific way. So we try not to have a lot of different effects on a single passive, or even ones that are like very disparate that don't really make sense to be together. And I think like moving quickly and having damage to distant enemies doesn't like, you know, you move quickly to close distance, not to stay distant more often than not because you're moving forward through a dungeon. So yeah, that was just a call that we made. Like it's something we can very easily add damage back to the necromancer in a more
Maybe
general way
you
too,
already
which
have
we
in
do.
different ways, but yes.
Yeah, you know, we add damage in a bunch of different places. Like damage is very easy to add, whereas move speed not so much. So we thought that the passive slot was a really good way because we really wanted
I'm not
just a
sad
generic
about that.
passive. The
I'm gonna
Barbarian
enjoy
enemy
that when I
also has
play it
one
in
now.
season 4. Absolutely.
That just gives you more move speed.
Not
so
gonna
you can just
try
go
it at
through the game.
all.
So we
in
felt like it
season
was just a
3.
better choice for the class.
'Cause
And like
why?
I don't think that too many people are gonna miss damage to
I already got
distance
2
as
classes
much
that I'm gonna
because
play in the
it's
gauntlet.
way more niche than something that's just generically strong.
That I
like
still have
move
to
speed.
flesh out too.
And you know, if
Like
if
there's still
necromancers need damage,
improvements
we
that
have a million places
I
you can
need
add
to
that. Not too
and
worried about that.
can do in the barbarian
Awesome.
too.
And you had mentioned like even like necromancers are getting because a lot of these mid-season updates themselves are related to minions, and a lot more changes are even coming in season 4. You had mentioned beforehand as well. So
Yeah, I think it's important to maybe address the other part of like, did we see this as kind of going back on our promise to not nerf things? You know, so I think this is why we kind of resist the urge generally in mid-season patches to redesign things completely, because then it's kind of a crapshoot. Like, is it a buff? Is it a nerf? If it's a redesign and it could be seen poorly. We just feel like in this case, move speed is such a clear win that we were willing to do that. But we're open to the feedback, and you know, if this is too risky to the players and they don't like that, then we're willing to bend on that. I think that's okay. We just felt like this was kind of an open and shut case.
cool. Well, thank you guys very much.
Yeah, it's
for,
movement
for,
speed.
for
Adding
insight and
movement speed
info
to a
on,
class that is
mid-season
slow as
update, and
fuck.
Gauntlet.
Of course,
Again,
that's
thank
an
you
open
again
and
to
shut
Microbiome
case.
and Anna Campfire for
Yeah,
joining
thank
us,
you both.
and
Very
our three
cool.
devs, John,
Oi, oi,
Steven,
oi.
and Liam for jumping
Yeah.
in and playing through. Again,
All right, so
Gauntlet
there's
is
a
coming out
bunch
with
of new
133,
stuff
which is our
coming.
mid-season update that will be hitting next Tuesday.
Isn't
on
any of it
March
going to
5th,
really
so players
change
will
my
be able
build
to
that
actually
much?
jump in, check out
Maybe a
Gauntlet.
little bit.
We're really looking
Maybe
forward
we
to seeing
keep
the feedback
Hydra,
from the first couple weeks, and you know,
depending on
letting
what
us
those
know,
buffs
like,
are,
hey,
the
are there any tweaks
conjurations.
and stuff like that that
Maybe.
we plan to doing. We'll be monitoring that from that end.
Because
Another
I
thing
was
that we'll be
very
monitoring
close
is
to
the
just
question we
dropping
asked
them because they
earlier,
do
that
nothing right
Adam
now
had
for
asked
me.
earlier about
Absolutely
how,
nothing.
People want to see specific updates happen with classes and and that you guys may have. So like by all means, have those conversations on various community channels. We will be checking those out. Let us know what you guys actually think. And just a reminder, Diablo 4 is coming to Game Pass later this. I almost said later this. It's 2/29. It's a leap year day, by the way. It is not March yet. Bamboozled. But it's coming later in March. It'll be on March 28th. So players will be able to.
The day
download Game
after
Pass Diablo
my
4
birthday.
title on Game Pass. We're really excited about
Yay.
that. So,
I don't have Game Pass. I
patch
don't
notes
care
tomorrow.
about big
See
Game
you guys
Pass.
then.
Blog
And
post.
blog post.
I
There's
don't
actually a blog post
need
up,
Game Pass.
right after the stream for the Gauntlet, so make sure to check that out for all the information related to Gauntlet before next week. And of course, we'll be back in a couple weeks to talk about that beefy Campfire chat related
Beefy.
to PTR and Season 4. So looking forward to
Yeah,
it.
stay tuned.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you guys very much. We hope you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you tomorrow to check out all the patch notes. So yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you. That was informative and enjoyable and makes me want to continue playing Diablo. I'll tell you that's for sure. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take a piss here. I'm going to thumbs this up and I'm going to add a comment here because why not? Great chat, guys. A lot to Can't wait for what? Looking forward. Yeah, baby. On the adding. Don't do it, man. What is it? Amongst. Spelled that wrong. And only release. Great chat, guys. A lot to look forward to. Looking anxiously. Can't wait to smash through the gauntlet. My vote on adding new legendaries and aspects as they are ready. Don't do it. Same. The fuck same. Save yourselves the bashing and keep parity amongst the classes as much as you can, and only release things when there is enough for all classes to enjoy. Nobody likes to starve while others are able to feast. While watching. Boom. Let's go. All right. So what are we going to do now? I'm going to go take a piss. Go say hi to my bros real quick. And we'll be back and we'll continue this sweet ass, and I mean sweet ass, sorceress, flaming meatball playthrough. And I think goal for tonight is what?